Hello everyone and welcome to this oil painting time-lapse of this painting entitled The Secret Whisper. There will also be a chat about my favourite art stores. I hope you're all keeping super well during this very difficult and stressful time. And I thought, since most of us are on lockdown at the moment, that I would talk about my favourite art shops that I like to go to, because I was dreaming about going to an art store recently since we haven't been allowed to go out very much. And so I thought I'd talk about some of the best ones. Now these are shops that are specifically useful for me because I'm an oil painter. So if you are somebody who has you specialise in something else, another medium, then perhaps you might not find these stores quite as useful. But I just want to talk about my experiences with art shops in general. So to start off, at number 4, we have KissMyArt. Now KissMyArt is one of the stores that I would say would be a traditional art shop. They have a lot of different shops in the UK. I believe they have about 15 or 16, and they also have a really great online store as well. They're really great that way. And they are one of those shops that has some oil painting supplies, some acrylic supplies, drawing supplies, things for people who like to use sort of markers and pencils. You get some oil pastels there, and also some watercolours as well. And then a really good range of brushes. You can also buy easels there, and big canvases, small canvases. So they've got a really good spread of all different types of products. Now their shops aren't super huge, they do vary in size. Some of the stores actually, I believe the one in Kensington has an art kind of basement, and they have a kind of art classes, and they may even have a gallery there. Sometimes they sort of convert it into a gallery, I think. But I have actually been to one of their art classes there, and it was really great fun. So they do offer a lot of different things. They also have, which is really cool, an email that they send out. So if you join their mailing list, they have a really great email because they talk about all different things that are going on kind of in the art scene. So any kind of contemporary art awards, for example, they talk about art competitions. And so it's really, really great because you get to learn about a lot of the kind of art exhibitions and shows that are happening. So I think that is so informative, and it's really great when art stores sort of inform you about that. In terms of prices, I feel as though KissMyArt is the absolute best during their sales. So if you can wait for a sale if you are a student or on a budget like most artists are, I feel like you get some amazing reductions there. They also have a membership card, a points card, and so I do highly recommend that if you go into their store regularly, you get one of those. It's free to get one, and then you can just use it there. I don't believe that their points card works online though, which is a bit of a shame, but it does work in store, and it is good to get savings using their card. I also think that you can get you can win a pen or something if you leave a review on their website, which I find really comical because it's like you just win a pen. But you know, there is that sort of small incentive. I did actually do a review once because I thought I would be in with a chance, and I think it's quite a fancy pen, so so at least there's that incentive. And the only disadvantage I would say of KissMyArt, in fact the only reason that it's not at number 1 as opposed to number 4, because everything like their customer service is fantastic, their online shop is amazing. I've never had any problems with them. The only reason why I put them slightly lower on the list is because for me specifically, for oil painting materials, I obviously need kind of a really big range, because oil painting is so sort of vast, and to be able to seek out all the products, like all the really interesting mediums. And also, as you probably know, I use Gamblin, and Gamblin is a brand that they don't sell in KissMyArt, so unfortunately. But in terms of like the actual products themselves that they sell, they do have a really, really nice selection of products, but it's just not big enough. And so that's why I wouldn't put it as my number 1 favourite store, because I just don't buy a ton of products from them in terms of the actual oil painting supplies. However, they do really great brushes, fantastic canvases and things, so they're definitely worth checking out, especially if you're wandering around in London, because they have a lot of stores that are very easily accessible. I believe there's one in Soho. I go to that one quite regularly just to sort of have a look inside. So yeah, really great shop. At number 3 on my list of my favourite art stores, and I'm sure I'm going to pronounce this wrong, is Cornelissen and Son. Now this is one of the most beautiful art stores I have ever been into. If you're ever around Tottenham Court Road area, please have a look because it is just so wonderful. This is like an art store that is out of a Dickensian novel or something. You go in and you've got all these amazing magical kind of potions of mediums and paints all stacked so high up, beautiful high ceilings, this amazing slanted wooden floor. So literally I remember when I walked in I was like, whoa, it was like such a weird cool experience, and it just has such a beautiful kind of old-fashioned look about it. What's also really amazing is it sells some really unique products. It even sells, I believe, egg tempera products. So for people who like to paint with egg tempera, I mean, that's quite rare, I think. I think it's the first art shop that I've seen that stocks anything like that. And they sell a lot of really interesting products, like obviously gambling, but some other more unique oil painting supplies online. So check beforehand before you go into the shop, because there are some products, I believe with gambling and some other products, they don't actually sell them in store, but they do sell them online. So just check beforehand because they do indicate on their website. I have ordered products from them before. Their online service is amazing. Just one thing to note when you are shopping online in these sort of slightly smaller online smaller art stores in England, is that sometimes you may have to pay a larger shipping fee. So for example, with this store and the one I'm going to speak about next, they do charge more because they do send products via UPS. Now it's quite funny though, because for me personally, at first when I saw the shipping cost, I was kind of a bit like, oh, that's quite a lot for shipping, because on Amazon and many art stores you get the shipping for free, or at least if you spend over a certain amount. Whereas these types of stores, the smaller ones, regardless of how much you spend, you will still have to pay more shipping costs. Could be like £10, could be 12, could be 8. So you're looking around that price. But actually, I've found that the shipping has been so fast and so perfect, and I've never had any issues with, the products going to a neighbour or to somewhere else or missing. And I have had that experience before with other art stores. So, you do get that kind of security of it getting to your home. So at least that's one good thing. So just be aware of that before you shop, because you will have to take into account the shipping costs as well. So apart from that though, they have a really nice range of really interesting painting supplies. They also sell drawing supplies, calligraphy supplies, really an amazing range of difficult to find products, all international type of products. So it's not just limited to things that you can find in the UK. So it's just an amazing store, and it's 5 minutes, I believe 5 or 10 minutes walk from Tottenham Court Road. And once you go in there, you'll be like in awe. It's just amazing. So an amazing store, great customer service, and I just really think it's beautiful. At number 2 is the wonderful Russell and Chapel, which is fantastic for canvases, any kind of canvas panel. They have a huge shop inside, and they can cut linen and cotton, I believe, there in store. I've never actually asked them to do that for me, but I'm pretty sure they have a service to do that because it's full of fabrics. I think the store also sells fabrics for theatres, so plays and things, which is really interesting. And they have an amazing online shop similar to Cornelissen. They have a really interesting range of products that is very unique, and a lot of specialist products for painters, so really worth checking out. They have amazing customer service and a wonderful online store, because I've bought quite a few things from their online store and have never had any issues with that. They do charge a little bit more than the regular art stores, but the service is great and I've always found it to be worth it. So yeah, just an amazing shop. And they do also have some little workshops and things which are really interesting if you are somebody who likes to know about the process of paint making and things like that. I believe Michael Harding gave a talk there about how he makes his paints. I was supposed to go to that. I remember it was a year or two ago, and I just was a bit under the weather at that time, so I didn't make it, but it's a bit of a sad tale really. But yeah, they do have really interesting things like that, so check their website and have a look on there if you're somebody who lives in London or near London. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. If you've made it this far, my number one favourite art store is Jackson's Art Supplies, the absolute best place ever. As I don't mean to sort of rate stores in the sense that they're not sort of the ones at number 4 or number 3 and not as good as number 1 or 2. It really just depends on the type of thing that you need. But for my personal needs, Jackson's Art Supplies is just amazing. It is in Shoreditch, so I haven't actually been to the store. Funnily enough, before Corona started, I was planning to go there and do a vlog and film everything, but sadly I haven't made it there, so I hope to do that in the future. So it's a little bit further out for me, but I've seen sort of what it looks like inside, and it really does look like a kind of mecca of, you know, the most wonderful art supplies. However, their art online store is just brilliant. Every art supply you can ever dream of. They do the most unique and unusual products. They have such a big range, but also it's not just for oil painters, so you get, you know, it doesn't matter what medium you are, you'll probably be able to find the product that you need there. They also have a lot of products that are there to suit the artist, so things that you have thought in the back of your mind, would really like to try that. I mean, the other day I was thinking, I really need to get something that would help my hands not get so kind of sandpaperish as it is at the moment. They're constantly washing my hands anyway because I'm painting, and then get that double thing of, you know, constantly like, I don't get rid of the germs. And so I was thinking I really need to take care of my hands, and then I found on Jackson's Art Supplies website that they have, you know, all these products to they're great and kind to artists' hands. So it's like they think of everything. They've got such intelligent they've got such an intelligent interface and an intelligent stocking of products, and I think their customer service is brilliant. Never had any issues with them. I do kind of secretly wish that they had more of a membership scheme or some kind of point scheme. They do say sometimes when I've purchased something, lots of points have been added to your account, and then I go to my account and then there's like no points there. Every time it says you have 0 points, and I was always so confused. But I think their membership scheme just hasn't started yet, so I really hope one day that takes off. But everything else they have, they also do things like push-arts and plein air products, so just basically everything you can think of. I just think they are wonderful. Their selection of brushes is also so vast, and that's pretty much it. I mean, they're just amazing. I was going to mention one more thing and I've totally forgotten. I'm also pretty sure that they are still taking orders at the moment, but even though I've just mentioned a bunch of art shops, please check online to make sure that they are actually delivering right now, because I'm not entirely sure that they would be. So just check those things. But obviously when we are free to go back out again, these are some really great places that I highly recommend. And I also believe that the international shipping, so I've heard from Jackson's Art Supplies, is really good. I haven't experienced it obviously, but I have heard it's meant to be very good. So I hope you have enjoyed this video of me rambling on. Please let me know your favourite art store. On to the speed paint. As you can see, this first layer has already dried, and I'm using a mixture of Gambling Radiant colours to create this ear here. And I wanted to mix up the colours a little bit because although one rabbit is grey at the moment and the other one is a kind of orangey brownish colour, I wanted to layer up the colours to add this kind of nice effect. So there's lots of different colours and tones in each layer. And I didn't want to stick to the actual normal colours of a rabbit. I did want to add a little bit more highlight, a little bit more blue tones, a little bit more light blue particularly, and so that was the concept from this point. So at the moment it may look quite standard, but it does change along the way, and I'm just using 2 brushes as I normally do. These are the Pro Art ones, and this is because I tend to stick to just 2 brushes. I'm a bit boring that way. I don't tend to change very much from that, but these are really great brushes. They're very well worn in, so it makes the process so much easier for me because I know exactly how each brush operates. And on the eyes and on the clothes, I kept very light layers, so using a lot more medium so I can glaze on top, because the clothes have a very reflective quality, sort of aristocratic 18th century type attire that these bunnies are in. So I really wanted the light to sort of reflect and bounce through those layers. So using more medium really does help with that. And the concept for this painting was a really funny one. It was all about these two kind of aristocratic rabbits who are good friends with each other. But one, the sort of the greyish bluish rabbit on the left is sort of a bit fed up really with its friend, who tends to tell very tall tales. I think everyone knows someone like this, someone who sort of exaggerates stories and likes to gossip. And so he's listening to his friend, so he's sort of rabbiting on, if you like, and hearing his stories that have been highly exaggerated and highly fantastical, and he's just tolerating him like, oh, here we go again. So I really wanted that expression of the face of slightly fed up rabbit putting up with his friend, sort of yammering on. And I did a little bit more work initially on the rabbit on the right, the blue one, so it was a little bit more difficult in a way to picture how this was going to finish, how it was going to look when complete. So I thought I'd add the whiskers in quite quickly, because it wasn't really looking so much like a rabbit. It wasn't giving the right atmosphere. So I thought I quickly put the whiskers in, and then I know where to put the sort of highlights and things. And the expression on the rabbits' faces was also very important, and I did change around a little bit in the first layer when I was sort of working out the composition and just making sure that it all fit in nicely, so that you get this real mood of a scene that's actually happening. And for these eyes, I wanted to make the eyes contrasting, so I didn't want the rabbits to have the same coloured eyes, if that makes sense. So I used a more blue tone on the green rabbit, and then the rabbit in the green clothes can get confusing, and the one in the blue clothes, I did a more kind of purplish eye, and I used the Gamblin's radiant colors to create that. So I did thin them down quite a lot. They're actually naturally very opaque, but I was able to thin them down and kind of get this really nice purplish glow, which I really liked. And so that's pretty much it. I do hope you enjoyed this painting. And here's a little close-up where you can see the eyes now. I did add a little bit more highlight and worked on it a bit more after that recording. So there's still the background that I had to do, and just mixed in some green gold in the background with some of the radiant turquoise, I believe, just to sort of get that nice colour. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys all take amazing good care of yourselves, and I will see you next week.